Good afternoon and happy Tuesday, and welcome back to your Hollywood fix, we can call it, your matinee for everything pop culture. I had to throw that in there because I know we discussed matinees last week. But welcome back to TLR. As always,
Yes.
I'm Joey Karni, and with me, the amazing Diva Incarnate Issa. Probably my favorite co-host I've ever had. I got to give her that title because she's just the best. But Issa, how's everything going? How's Roman?
Thank you. He always got to make an appearance.
Gotta love Roman. A lot of headlines today about stuff that we like to talk about. I mean, there's Bad Bunny's back in the headlines. We have Kylie Jenner back in the headline. Kendall Jenner back in the headlines. But something
Everybody.
new. Amanda Bynes just taking off in the streets.
Naked.
Naked. Yeah. So I figured
Naked.
today
She was naked on the streets. Yep.
Can you hear me okay? I think it's lagging a little bit. If she's there. I think she might be frozen. But we'll wait for while we wait for Issa. Oh, here she is. We're bringing her back in.
The spirits of the storm outside are taking over my internet power.
So I know we always somehow bring up the weather. How's the weather by you? How's everything over there?
We had a sunny day. Me and Roman went for a walk. We went to the dog park, but now the sun is like raining hard, and I feel like it's affecting all of my technology.
I remember that well from my time in Florida.
Yeah, like it'll change, and then it'll stop raining, and it'll be like it didn't even happen.
Yep. Over here, I just came inside from sitting out in the sun for like 15 minutes. I know you can't see because I'm almost the same color as my background, but it's 60 degrees out over here, and it's blue skies and sunny, so I am taking advantage of this because
it's allergy season. It's allergy season.
It's the first official full day of spring because I think yesterday was the first day of spring. So today's the first full day. And it's treating me well so far. 60 degrees, like I said, sitting outside. But there are so many things we could talk about today. The first one I want to discuss, the Weeknd. We were looking for topics for the show, and I just came across this one about the Weeknd. He just set a Guinness World Record as the world's most popular artist. The article goes on to say that the Weeknd is officially the GOAT, or at least according to the folks at the Guinness World Records. He's officially the most popular artist in the world. He broke 2 records on Spotify, one for the most monthly listeners in Spotify history, and then for hitting like a 111 million mark, something like that. And for the other one being the first artist to breach 100 million monthly listeners. He's breaking all these records on Spotify. So apparently he's the best artist or the most popular artist of all time. You listen to The Weeknd?
I do. I have some of his music on my playlist. It's not my go-to, but there's a few songs that I enjoy. My main thing with this is crazy how far we've come with technology and how we measure these numbers now. Because I remember back in the day, selling 1 million CDs was a big deal. Now these numbers are like in the billions and hundreds of millions. Like, it's crazy to me.
You know what's crazy? Fun fact that I just saw the other day, and I think I might have said it before on the show. Vinyl records have now outsold CDs. Isn't that crazy?
I know, because it's cool. Because it's a cool vintage piece to have in your apartment. That's the only reason why.
I mean, I collect records. I love vinyl, but I've been doing it since before. I've been doing it since like 2013, 2014. So
before it got trendy and everybody started doing it.
It's funny because there's so many people I know that would like not make fun of me, but be like, they were Like, why are you buying records? Like, that's so weird. You're so old. Oh, Grandpa Joe. Those same people are now collecting records. So
coming to you to ask you for advice because you're the expert.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
pretty funny
Do you
seeing
have
the
do you have
changes.
any the Weekend vinyls?
I do. I have.
Oh, what?
I think I have like I have a lot of old stuff, but I also have a lot of newer stuff as well. Um,
Okay.
so I have like obviously the Beatles, Frank Sinatra, things like that, and then I go into my rock section, and I have Nirvana. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, there's a lot of '90s music, '80s and '90s music. Um,
90s was some of the
yeah,
best music in my opinion. Yeah.
yeah. I have what's the Britney Spears album? I forgot the name of the album, but it's like the one with all the gold on the cover. It's like her standing in like the gold. Is it?
Is
It's
that when
not
she
the
had the
Oops.
dark hair?
I think so. It's not the
Is that
first
Blackout?
album. It's not
I
the
think
one
it
where
might
she's
be
like
Black.
sitting on her knees. The first one. It's the next one where it's like purple and she's like in purple or something and gold. The whole album is like gold or brown. I don't know. I don't remember what the.
But the
It's
second
got the
one
it's
was
got
Slave for You, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't
it's
know.
got the song. I know it's got the song "Lucky" on it. Her song "Lucky" is on that album. I don't know the name
That
of the
wasn't the
album.
original one, so you must have a remix, like a remix of it or something.
I'll have to find it and show you on stream
Yeah,
one
because
time.
the
I have a
original
limited
album has
edition.
Lucky on it.
Got it. Yeah, I have a Britney album on vinyl uh, that I got. I don't
Oh
even
no,
like
that's
listen.
Oops, I Did It Again. That's Oops, I Did It Again.
Got it. Yeah, I don't know the name of it. I couldn't tell you. But no, I only bought it because it was like a limited like gold edition. So I have like an original limited edition Britney Spears album. I don't like I told you, 90s music, 2000s, that's our thing.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Well, good
I
for
see
the
Ricky in
Weekend
the
though.
chat.
I just don't think that he's gonna get. I think that record is gonna be broken like next week and next week. Like sometimes I'll see like, oh, this
Yeah,
artist was the most streamed this week, and they have like a crazy amount of streams, and then the next week it's like a whole different artist. And I wish
yeah,
I really like Apple Music. I am more of I don't use Spotify. I'm an Apple Music person. Sometimes
me
I
too.
really do think we could see the stats from Apple Music because all we ever see is Spotify. And I know Apple Music has a big user base. I would love to see their stats as well.
Yeah, everyone's always raving about Spotify. Spotify is the one that has all of like they're always in the articles for the showing the records, the top artist this, the top song that. I have never listened to Spotify.
Same. Saying,
Only ever used Apple Music.
did you know that it takes like, I believe, an artist has to get like 250 streams to make like $1, where with Apple Music it's only 50 streams to make $1. So
Wow,
you make more money
that's a big
if
difference.
from Apple, yeah, than they do from Spotify. And a lot of people don't know that. People are which is crazy because I feel like Spotify, I don't know how many users Apple Music has. Now you got me, I'm going down a rabbit hole later. But Spotify is the way that it sees it is more popular, which I find that so
Yeah,
weird. I feel like Android people use Spotify. I don't know. It's just
that's
not for
so
me.
funny that you said that because I was just about to tell you a story. Like 2 weeks ago, I had a friend. We were talking about Apple and Spotify, and they referenced Apple as the Android of the streaming subscriptions. As like, if you listen to Apple Music, it's like you're texting with green bubbles in the group chat. Like you're the
Well, the
Android,
Yeah,
and I'm
well, the
like,
Apple
what?
Music used to be Dr. Dre's streaming service.
Yeah,
And that's the reason why
yeah,
they bought Beats by Dre. It was never because of the freaking headsets. It was just to steal their streaming service, which I thought was genius. But I feel like it
yeah,
ended an era because those headsets have never been as popular as they were when they stood alone. And obviously,
yeah.
because if I go to the Apple store, when I bought my MacBook, they gave me a free pair of Beats wireless. Good ones too. They're great for the
Oh wow.
gym. But I I'm getting AirPods. You know what I mean? Like it was all a scheme. I wish they would have just bought the streaming service and kept the headphones separate because I feel like that was a whole era of everybody having the wireless Beats headphones.
It also said here that "Blinding Lights" by The Weeknd is from 2020 is the biggest song ever. And I'm thinking about like they say it's the biggest song ever, but how do they calculate like all the other things that weren't on that were before Spotify?
I don't know, because
How?
like Bad Bunny is one the most streamed artists on Spotify for 3 years in a row now. Globally, the
Yeah.
person that gets the most listens. But sometimes they talk about individual records and I never like really hear his name. And I'm like, how is he the most streamed? But like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
According to Google, Spotify has 205 million premium users. They have 489, but they have a free service, remember? So
Yeah.
paying customers is 205 as of 2023. I can only find 88 million for Apple Music in 2022. So
Oh wow.
I just don't understand why there's not more, because you can do the family bundle and it comes with like your Apple Fitness. Like if you're an Apple
Yeah.
person,
Everything's
it all
connected.
comes in there. Apple TV, Apple Fitness, Apple Music. Like I get it all, pay one fee and I don't have to worry about it. I think Apple Music is great. Completely underrated.
I think I'm on a family plan with my parents as well. We all
Yeah.
have like our own thing on Apple Music, and I think it's like $14 a month, which is for multiple people to use. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
you get
four of
five
us on there.
people.
Yeah,
Hmm.
crazy. But and
Yeah,
it's
I have my
everything's connected
nephews.
to
I
the
have
phone.
everybody. I have everybody. But yeah, Apple Music is better than. Congratulations to the Weeknd. But when he becomes Apple Music's biggest artist, then I'll acknowledge him.
That's when we'll acknowledge him as the one. You know, like
Right, right. Right now, he's not the one.
you mentioned
But like
Bad
Ricky
Bunny.
said on the chat, man, WWE loves the Weeknd.
They do. You know what's
Yeah.
funny? It went from Florida having all of the
Oh my
WrestleMania
God, you're right.
theme
You're right.
songs straight to the Weekend, and I
Yep.
like they just replaced Flow Rider. Like I feel like he's the Scott Disick of the family. Like he was the prized possession, and they just threw him to the curb, and they're like, "All right, it's the Weekend's turn."
Right. I can't wait for WrestleMania to be done, because then we're gonna be hearing just nothing but Bad Bunny 10-second clips on the show for Backlash, because I would assume he's gonna have the official song. So I'm excited
Yep.
to see which one they pick. I hope they don't pick Booker T, because he already performed that like 2 years
He already
ago.
did
So I
that.
hope they go with a different one. Yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of Bad Bunny, he's in the headlines again.
Oh, the
Before
tea's
we jump
hot.
into that, let me ask you a question. Do you think he's going to wrestle at Backlash?
I'm hoping that he does. I'm hoping that he does. I think he's been kind of busy for training though, and I remember the last time before he got in the ring, he was very adamant about wanting to train because he wanted to look good.
Yeah.
So to me, it seems like he's got Coachella. He's headlining Coachella. That's coming up, so he has a lot going on. But he's been kind of quiet. We've seen him pop up with Kendall here and there, but we haven't really seen what he's been up to. I have noticed that he's in the States a lot, and I do remember him moving to the States when he was like training to wrestle. So we'll see what happens. The tickets went on sale. The pre-sale was yesterday. They're on sale for the general public today, and a lot of his fans are grabbing tickets that have never watched wrestling a day in their life. They're just buying it because they want to see.
I saw
I
this.
think that.
I saw this funny meme the other day that it was a wrestling meme, and it said how WWE switched WrestleMania Backlash to Backlash. They took away the WrestleMania
Yeah.
part, and now they're calling it BBB. And I'm like, what the hell is BBB? And they're like, it's Bad Bunny Backlash.
I know, I was thinking, I'm not a big person with like the posters, but I was like,
Yeah.
man, that poster says Backlash, has Bad Bunny, it says San Juan, Puerto Rico. I think that might be one that I buy and frame and put somewhere in
Yeah.
the background.
It's crazy to see like an artist like Bad Bunny on like a wrestling. I don't know. It's crazy. Like Logan Paul at
But they
wrestling.
know what they're doing. They're advertising for Puerto Rico there, because Logan has been on plenty of pay-per-views and they never really put it. Oh, I think he was in the poster for the one he main evented with Roman.
Yeah, it
So
was just him and Roman on the poster.
right,
Yeah.
right. That's crazy.
It's still just crazy to see these big superstars who are not wrestlers like in the world of professional wrestling.
That we need that. I know a lot of people want to talk about like celebrities doing this and that, but that mainstream appeal really is what's gonna make wrestling cool again. Like people have to realize like wrestling, yeah, WWE is a hotter product than AEW, but no, there's no new viewers. coming to watch wrestling. We need people like Logan Paul, people like Bad Bunny to make it cool so that new people start watching it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just gonna be all of us, the same group of people watching it all the time.
Yep. Yep. But this headline with Bad Bunny.
Oof.
Yeah, Bad Bunny's ex-girlfriend sues him over unauthorized use of her voice on Bad Bunny Baby tagline. What's going on here? You are
So yeah,
the
this
Bad Bunny,
is
you are the BBC. You're the Bad Bunny corner.
So this is the girl that he dated back when he worked at the grocery store here, and that wasn't too long ago. I'm talking like
Yeah.
2016. He was bagging groceries here in Puerto Rico. He dated her, and if you go back to all Bad Bunny tracks, you'll hear her at the beginning of pretty much every song. Bad Bunny, baby. So I guess they used to consult together, this and that.
Yeah.
But I was very surprised, and I will say that when the new album came out, one song, which is called 2016, funny enough, has the voice. And I was like, I remember thinking, did he find somebody else? Did he use her voice again?
Yeah.
So allegedly, he used her voice. And what she's saying, she went on to become a lawyer. So this grocery store is making stars. I'm going to go get a job there. Like, Bad Bunny
Yeah.
came
What
out
the
and said that you
hell?
have a
What's going
lawyer.
on there?
But so she graduated from law school. And what she's claiming is that the day before the album dropped, the Bad Bunny people sent her a contract for $20,000 to use this. She sent this on a voice note on her iPhone like years ago, right? And she said she never signed it, she didn't go through it, and then they just released the album with the voice note in it. So I somebody screwed up, right? Somebody screwed up here. I will say that, but she's asking for 40 million, and I wonder if maybe some of the maybe the legal team can pull up some of the clauses that were used for the other songs that she used before that maybe gave future. Because if he's using the same voice note and she already gave permission on prior songs, you know what I mean? So I haven't gone through the entire document like they released it here on the news like recently, but we use this. We've heard this voice on plenty of songs. So I'm hoping that at some point they sign something that neither one of them realize that allow him to just use it. Otherwise, he's in trouble because he did. It's there.
Normally, I think it's a one-time use fee. So say if like he like paid her, or she authorized it one time, he paid her or not, regardless. He's allowed to use that. She's giving permission.
I just don't know. I know, right? I know that we've heard it a lot. In the lawsuit, she only mentions the two songs, and one of them is the one that came out in the latest album. So I'm assuming that
after now he's more popular.
Right. I'm assuming that maybe after the breakup, she was like, okay, I don't want to work with you anymore. I don't know. This is like a 0.2 seconds like sound note too. So it's like, can you really copyright claim? You know how it is. Like there's so many laws that goes into this. But I mean, the lawsuit is there. We'll see where it goes. I have a feeling she's just trying to get more than 20K. I don't know where it's going to go, but I guarantee you it gets settled outside of court. He'll take care of her.
I don't know how you go. I don't know how she goes from 20K to 40 million. That's just like a huge drop off. It makes no sense, especially for.
I mean, because right now she's a lawyer. She has a legal team. Yeah, but you're probably looking at how many streams this song has on Spotify, how much money he's made out of this song. So that's probably what they're looking at.
Yep. No, I get it. It's the tea, the drama, all that stuff. It's just
listen. He starts dating a Kardashian, and now the bad luck comes. You know.
Yep. Speaking of Kardashian, the one that he's been
wait. Before you talk about the Kardashians, did you see?
Yeah.
He came out with a new song. It's like a collab song with another rapper. It's in Spanish, right? But he throws at Kendall's ex-boyfriend in this song.
I didn't hear the song, but I read a tagline that
that the song in Puerto Rico is hotter than the song in Phoenix. Yeah, and then he went on and commented on some posts. So Bad Bunny's beefing with everybody right now.
I know. But listen, everybody's coming for him because he's the top of the music world. Well, actually, no, the Weeknd. I'm kidding. But the top of the music world. The top of the music world outside of Spotify. He's wrestling. He's just doing all this stuff. Everyone's coming for him.
Listen, I can attest. I've been to Phoenix. I think the
I
sun
just with
here
a
is hotter.
Kardashian.
He's with a Kardashian. She said,
Yeah.
I read that it's not serious, which is what I suspected. They just enjoy each other companies. Apparently, that's what she
Yeah.
told a source.
So Kendall Jenner, the story here, the headline, she's being called like a bully in a Mean Girl, because there was a clip of her belittling Kylie, I guess her sister Kylie Jenner, in front of friends that came from the show. Something that happened before it came back up. It was from October,
Okay.
and she candidly opened up about upsetting public perception of her being a mean girl. Blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, I don't know if has she been a part of the Selena Gomez Haley Bieber stuff, because I know she's friends with Haley Bieber, and Kylie kind of got involved with that as well. Has she done
I
anything with
all
that?
I heard, all I like the back and forth that I heard about this drama has always involved Kylie. I barely heard Kendall's name being involved in this.
Really?
Yeah, I think Kendall, I
Yeah.
think she's messy, don't get me wrong, but I think she does a good job
Yeah.
at staying off the spotlight in a negative way. Like the biggest drama that I remember with Kendall was the Pepsi commercial, which is the complete opposite
Yeah.
from all of her sisters.
I think they're just looking for stuff to kind of get her for something. I mean, we've talked about it before. Kendall is one of our favorites out of the whole family.
Yeah, she is, but if she's been messy. She's been messy. I would assume that these
Yeah.
girls all bully each other, even just
Yeah.
based on what we see on the show, the way that they talk to each other. Sometimes I'm like, you guys are sisters, so I'm not
Yeah.
surprised if there was a clip of her talking to her sister like that. I think they all talk to each other like that, and I also think they all love each other. But I really do think they all like. There's a lot of egos in the same household,
Yeah.
you know.
You know what it is too? Because she's now like because of the whole thing with Bad Bunny, she's been in the headlines a little more. And I feel like
Yeah.
once you hit that trigger point where you're in the headlines, they just start coming out of the woodwork looking for everything they can get you on. And this is one of those things. It's
And she
from
just
so many
graced the
months ago.
Yeah, and she just
Yeah.
raised the cover of Vogue. I don't know which Vogue it was, but I saw the pictures, which are stunning. But that would also get you some extra attention as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I always say like do whatever. But
Hmm.
it is what it is. I saw this crazy fact about we're talking about Kardashians here about Kim Kardashian, how she
Oh,
makes how she makes like 200 and something million or something like that, and they broke it down as to how much she makes monthly, weekly, uh, daily, and then an hourly rate because they were comparing it to somebody who makes like the average American salary I think is 30,000 a year. So they were
right.
comparing her salary to the 30,000. Basically, how long it takes one American to make 30,000 a year. How long does it take Kim Kardashian to do that? So she
Five
roughly
minutes.
makes pretty much. She roughly
Yeah,
makes 90, almost 10 grand an hour. She makes like
yeah,
98, 9,900 per hour, which means three or 4 hours she makes the average American salary.
yeah.
At that point, I wanted to just throw my phone out the window and just
Give up on life.
yeah, crazy.
Yeah,
Another
it's
sorry, I was yeah.
no, it's crazy. I was just saying, it's crazy.
Yeah, she's listen, good for them. They're killing it. They're doing their thing. But on the flip side of that, I also found a TikTok regarding that too, the finance side, because once one comes up, they all start popping up. I saw one about Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift obviously just started her new Eras tour, which by the way is a almost 3.5 hour show.
Yeah, I heard.
That to me is insane. Like I've been to 1 hour concerts, I've been to 2 hour concerts, 3.5. Damn,
No.
you better bring some comfortable sheets. But so her tour sold out in roughly like under a minute or so, like 2 minutes or
Yeah,
something like that. So
Ticketmaster
they,
screwed that up big time.
oh seriously, they were
Hmm.
saying that the average price for the ticket for a ticket was like roughly $500. So because the tour sold out, she sold $1.35 billion
Hmm.
for that tour. So after the taxes and all that stuff, her cut, I think she gets like 500 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are we
Bad
doing?
Bunny just made. Bad Bunny just made. I think. How much was it? I saw this breakdown too of the tour that he just the stadium tour that he just did, and I think he
Yeah.
ended up bringing home like I think it was like 400 million, which they were trying like they broke it down in the exact way that you're breaking it down, which was like okay, every night he got on stage, he pretty much made like 15 million, and I was like Jesus, to come out there sing for a couple hours, like that's insane to me. Like these tours, if you have the fan base that's what they need. And Taylor Swift, I feel like she hasn't done one in a while. Um,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I remember when Taylor Swift came out. I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan. Like she doesn't really do it
Yeah.
for me. But to me, it just feels like she just came out. And now I'm looking at her like tracks and all her albums and all that. And I was like, holy crap, she's been here a minute. Like even Taylor Swift is getting older. We're all just getting old, basically.
Oh my god, it's messing with me. I remember when she
Yeah.
first started, she was like singing with her guitar on Disney Channel, and
Yeah.
she's
Love song.
like
I loved it. It was so
15 or
cute.
16 years old, and she's 35 now,
Wait, she's
36, something like
35?
that.
No, she's not. Hold on.
She's like 35. I think she's like 35 or 36, something like
No
that.
way. Is she really?
Yeah.
How old is now you got me Googling. She's 33. Okay. 33.
33. Okay, close enough. 33.
Yeah, that's still crazy
Yeah.
because like you said, I think I remember her being 16 in her little guitar with the long curly hair.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was like a little country star on Disney. And
Hmm.
I think her dad was a producer. That's how she got her start. I think
Yeah,
something like that. But
it's
no, I'm
crazy.
not crazy. But this new tour that she's doing, like this is like we were talking about the power of social media before when we're discussing the weekend, like how everything's changed.
Yeah.
People like these artists are doing stadium tours. Like
Yeah.
that's bonkers, bonkers to me.
Bad Bunny just did one, well, not globally, but like he went to South America. He went to a bunch of countries in South America, and it was like crazy. He sold out that stadium in Mexico that sits like a
Yeah,
100,000 people. He sold it out 2 nights in a row, like it's nothing. And you're like,
yeah,
wow, like to me that's mind blowing just because like obviously he's
yeah,
from here, we're a small island, and just to see the reach that he has right now. And every night you see him go out there and he does all of these things where he's like talking about Puerto Rico and all of his concerts and where he's from. And to me, I just feel so proud to know that somebody's out there like just putting the good word about how Puerto Rico is awesome, you know. But to me, oh crap, to me that's crazy to see like these artists like sell and sing
yeah.
to so many people in so many countries. Like it's insane.
And it's like stadium tours are now the new norm for
Yeah,
this type of thing,
because
and they're
arenas are
selling out in minutes.
small. They just have
Yeah,
to be smart about when they do it, or they
yeah,
have to release music very back to back, which is what I feel like Bad Bunny did that because he released like
yeah,
three albums back to back, and that's why he was able to get away with like three. I think he did like two normal arena tours, and then he did the
yeah,
stadium tour. Like it's been insane how many concerts he's made, and then well again want to take a couple of months off and people are complaining about it. I'm like, have you seen all that this guy has done? Like, give me a break. But yeah, it's insane that they're selling out the stadiums. But I feel like for the same amount of artists that we're discussing that are selling out stadiums, there are concerts getting canceled and people not buying tickets. So I feel like the artists have to be very smart, know what reach they got, know what cities they're going to. Because I have also seen a couple of people have to cancel shows or this or that because they don't have they're overshooting their shot. You know what I mean?
of course. And we see the same thing. I mean, it's happening with other sports too, but specifically wrestling and WWE. Like, I was watching WrestleMania 20 the other day because
Yeah.
it was like the 20th, the 19th or anniversary of that show. So I was like, oh, I was
Hmm.
watching it, and I was looking at the stadium. They were in Madison Square Garden, and WrestleMania, like we know WrestleMania, like the Super Bowl of professional wrestling, and WrestleMania 20 at the time was this mega show. Like They sold out, and I don't know if they sold out, but like this huge Madison Square Garden show. I'm
Yeah.
looking at the stage set up, and I'm thinking to myself, we're going on WrestleMania 39.
There's
A
no way you'll
two
see a
show.
WrestleMania in an arena ever again. No way.
No, there's
And that was the
stadium
normal back in the day.
shows. That to me, that was the big show, the biggest show of the year, WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Filling up
Now it's
Madison
not
Square
even just
Garden.
WrestleMania. I just went to, they're selling out stadiums for all their big events. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
crazy. Royal Rumble was at the Alamo Dome last year. It was inside that big place in
yeah,
St. Louis. We had the Allegiant for SummerSlam in 2021, which we were still in the middle of the pandemic, but they still managed to pull quite a few people in there. The Tennessee one that was in a stadium. Like it's not just WrestleMania anymore for stadiums.
yeah. And they're going to be doing it in London as well. I mean, they're WWE's doing a stadium tour.
They
It's just
originally wanted a stadium here, but these are unconfirmed rumors that I heard. It's just that our stadium is it's old, and the
yeah,
building that they ended up going to is a normal arena since 18,000, about 500, but it's newer. It's nice. And the stadium
yeah,
here needs so much TLC that I was like, there is no way. I think it will sell. 1,000% it will sell, especially with
Oh,
the announcement
1,000.
of Bad Bunny, but the is so bad. It's not aesthetically pleasing. Like it's not a cute stadium. So I'm like, no, just go to that. We built this arena. It's nice. It's a few years old. Let's go to that one, okay?
It's crazy. Like WrestleMania 20 in Madison Square Garden, WrestleMania 29 in MetLife Stadium. Like
Oh my god, I love that set. It was so New York.
that was one of my favorite ones of ever.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite sets. That one in 33, the roller coaster. Oh, that thing was
Yes,
breathtaking.
Orlando,
Yeah.
beautiful. I can't wait to see
Yeah,
what
I
they do
like
this year.
29 because it was so New York. But
Yeah, they
yeah,
had
with
the
Hollywood,
Statue of Liberty over the ring.
yeah. Yeah, with Hollywood, they could really go all out. But I'm
Yeah,
gonna be honest with you, when they did the set for WrestleMania 35, which was just a giant LED,
I hated it.
and I was like, okay, well, they already did a huge, massive set here, right?
Yeah,
But because they let me so down with that, now I try to not get excited. But there's a thought in the back of my head that says, oh my god, they could really go all out with it being Hollywood. The ramp should be red, like a red carpet. Like my brain is going off, but they have also let me down with some sets. So I'm just gonna
yeah,
wait and see what I mean, they'll start leaking. They're gonna start leaking pictures of it probably in a week when they start building it. Oh, you know which
yeah.
one I really
We're
like
away.
too? The Tampa one. The pirate ship. Oh, I thought
Yes,
that was so good.
I love that one too. Even
Yeah.
last year's was decent.
It was cute. It was
It,
cute.
it wasn't one of my favorites, but it was definitely like a monumental like look.
Yeah, it was cute. I liked it more than the first one that they did in Dallas, for what it's
Yeah,
worth.
I would love to see like because they're gonna be in Hollywood. I would love to see like this big, almost like the some of the backgrounds like this big mountain, and you see like the Hollywood sign in the Hollywood Hills, and it
Oh
says
my god, yeah,
WrestleMania.
because they did the Universal logo for the 33.
Yes,
Remember? That would be cute. I like that
like
idea.
WrestleMania and the Hollywood Hills in the background, and you do like I don't know, just
And I know we're a pop culture podcast and we always switch into wrestling, but I really have been loving the skits. Like they used to do all the silly commercials back in the day. Like I love all the skits. That 40-year-old virgin last night had me
oh,
dying
I
laughing.
was on the
I
floor.
am having fun with how much they're owning it, and I hope they keep that up. Like, come
Yeah,
on, next year go have some people like have a Philly cheesesteak concert, which contest, which one is the better one? Do the Rocky Stairs, like get into it because that gets us more hype. But
yeah.
Hollywood, man, the possibilities of what they could do are endless. So please just don't put a giant LED screen. Is all I'm asking for. That's
Well,
right.
you
I'm
heard
gonna
it
be
here.
in LA, and next week I'm not gonna be here. I'm gonna be traveling to LA. So we'll see who Joey gets as a co-host.
Yeah. Drum roll.
Yeah.
No, but you guys heard it here first. We're both going to be at WrestleMania next year. That's a given.
Yeah. That's
WrestleMania
we
40.
already we already planned it.
It's driving distance from me. You'll be here. I mean, and it'll be my first WrestleMania.
I can't believe you've never been to a Mania.
I've been to the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I was at the 2006 Royal Rumble where Rey Mysterio won. I went to SummerSlam. SummerSlam is my favorite show of the year. I went to SummerSlam
Yeah, I
a few
mean, they
years
gave
ago
us
with
SummerSlam for like 4 years in a row. How can you not go to SummerSlam when it
uh,
was at the Barclays for so long?
I was at the one where Roman beat Brock in the main event, and then it was Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss for the women's
Yeah.
title. Excellent event.
It's insane because think about it. You just said it. Like the whole point to this was like the stadium tours. SummerSlam was also in a normal venue. Not anymore. Now they're doing it in big arenas. Like it's weird because we're in a recession, or so they say. But
Yep.
people are still paying to go watch good shows if they know it's worth it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that there's just something to think about.
It's the power of social media and the internet. Really, it's crazy how
And
far it's all
FOMO,
come.
FOMO. Think about it.
Oh, absolutely.
We were locked in for over a year. So now I feel
Yep.
like we all have this fear of missing out. Or I don't know about you guys in the chat. I don't know about you, Joey, but after COVID, and it just makes you realize that life can change at any second. So it's like don't take anything for granted. Go outside, enjoy it more, because it was taken away from us for over a year, and we all bitched about not being able to go anywhere. So now we can. So go outside, go for a walk, like do all these things, because it was crazy how they took that away, and it really changes your perspective on certain things. Sometimes I'm like super busy, but I'm like, all right, I got 20 minutes. Let's take Roman to the dog park, or let's go for a walk by the beach just to enjoy some nice fresh air. Because I really do think about those days, and I still like cannot believe that we went through that.
Yeah. It almost feels like it didn't happen. It feels
I
like a
know.
time warp. Like I
The
remember it,
whole
but I'm
thing
like, what?
the whole thing felt like I was watching a movie. Like it felt like an outer body experience. Like I was watching the whole world and it was like a movie. You know what I mean? So I also think that the reason why people are more willing to go to these shows or do these things is because of that too. Like, yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people, I was one of them, lost their jobs or this happened, but we missed out on a lot. And now you just want to kind of make up for that year and few months that we were literally locked inside without really being able to interact. And even at first, when we were able to interact, people would still be frowned upon if you went out, even if you were messed up. Or I remember the very first time I did something. I think it was, and my friend talked me into it, and it was like her birthday press like thing, and she was like checking people at the door, temperatures. We were masked up, and you still feel guilty. And there was like barely any restrictions, but you still feel guilty to be outside. Like it's insane. So I personally think people are going to shows and doing more things because we were robbed of a year of that.
Yeah. I have a question to ask, but before I ask you that, it's coming back to me now. Something that happened during the pandemic. It was the first time. It must have been in like April or May of 2020. So everything was still really bad, and uh, I was living with my parents at the time. The three of us were living in the house, and we heard that there was a Dunkin' Donuts that had opened up. So I got in my car. I went to Dunkin' Donuts, and this is a time when like you weren't allowed to be on the roads besides
Yep.
for specific things.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled up to this Dunkin' Donuts. I sat in a line for almost 30 minutes because there was
Yep.
massive amount of people there. You can't go inside, only in drive-through. So think about today, a world where everyone's waiting in line at Dunkin' Donuts because it's the only thing open.
Yeah.
I pull up to this drive-through with a mask on and rubber gloves. You don't touch anything. You don't know. We didn't know anything was going on. And like now thinking about it, like how crazy is that?
It's insane what we went through. It really is.
How crazy is that? Just insane. But the question I wanted to ask you was regarding the pandemic. I've heard a lot of bad stories, a lot of good stories. Did you enjoy your time during the pandemic? Like what were you with family? Were you by yourself? Like what did you do? I know it's outside of pop culture, but we're talking about it.
I did. I lost my job, so like my job laid us off immediately, right? Like for some reason,
Yeah.
first they didn't want to shut us down. Remember, this is New York City. We were ground zero at the time. We were the worst. First, they didn't
Yep.
want to shut us down, and I worked for a company that I sold like co-working space, conference rooms, like the people were
Yeah.
things where people get together, right? The office
Yep.
spaces, all of my clients had already their employees working from home. So we were sitting, I remember sitting there with my staff on empty floors, but they were open, right?
Wow.
We were open still. So I never forget that when they finally decided, okay, you guys can handle this from home because if clients call for something, whatever, you can do that from home. And they literally just waited like a couple of days before they laid all of us off and dissolved the company. Um,
Wow.
so the beginning of the pandemic was rough for me because that was my dream job. I was like in every aspect of the way, financially, title wise, like it was like the end goal for me. Like that's what I wanted to retire with that company, right? So I will say that I enjoyed it because it brought me to making the decisions that I made that led me to where I am today, where I'm just content creating full time. And that's not something I used to do this as a hobby. It was just me saying, well, this
Yeah.
is all I got. Let me see what I can do here. I would take Roman on walks. I was living with my ex at the time. It was rough because we were in an apartment complex, but we did luckily lived in a very nice complex. We had pools, we had gyms, we had this, and as long as you weren't bringing outsiders because they weren't allowing us to bring guests, they kept things open. So I was able to go to the gym. I was able to do a lot of things. We had like a theater that you could rent
Yeah.
for like residents. So if I wanted to watch a big movie, I would go there. But if it would have not been for if I would have been on different living conditions, I would have probably been miserable. But I had,
Yeah.
and because you live nearby, I had a nice view of the skyline. So I would try to go for walks every day. But you
Yeah.
will still get yelled at sometimes. Like it was crazy. Like I'm like, I live here. Like I remember having to show a police officer at one point that I lived in the area because if you weren't a resident of that particular town, they didn't want you there. And I was like, bro, I live across the street. I'm just getting some fresh air. But it changed. I did enjoy it in a way that it made me make decisions that I might have not made if I would have kept living
Yeah.
the life that I was living, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Honestly, it was a bad time for everything, but like
Hmm.
I spent my time very, very like I had a good time. Like it sounds bad, but I had a good time. Like I was living with my parents. We had the two dogs, and it was just you get to have that family time that you don't necessarily are able to have all the time because of work and all the other outside things. We're kind of forced to do that. So it was really cool to have like that bonding time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Sometimes I
also
wonder, I wonder, like, sorry to interrupt you, but sometimes I wonder if
no,
that in the back of my brain is the reason why I moved here. Once I found out that my mom was sick, I remember
yeah,
not being able to come see them for over a year. And then I was
yeah,
like, okay, no, I need to be close because my parents are all I got. And I made the decision to move here because I can travel and I can see my friends up there. You know what I mean? Like, it's different. But I'll never forget thinking that when I saw my mom going through an illness, and I remember thinking, no, what if this happens again? And then I can't come home and something happens to her. Like it's
yeah,
crazy because it's the opposite of you, where it's like I couldn't bond, I couldn't even come see them, and
yeah.
that might have something to do as to why I'm living in Puerto Rico right now.
I think it does. It shifted my priorities so like a 180. Like you always think family's gonna be there, blah 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 blah. We end up really taking that stuff for granted, the things that really do matter. And this kind of just shifted everything. Like I spent so much time. Like I started my podcast. I started
Yeah,
I started being a content creator in the pandemic because I was digging deep to find like what matters, what do I want out of life, like what do I like, what
right.
is my passion, different things like that. Like I wrote my first book. I have a book on Amazon that I wrote through the pandemic, and a lot of it I talk. It's like free verse poetry, and I mentioned bonding with my family and having those experiences. Like just I don't know. I used it wisely, but it shifted so many like I don't know.
Yeah,
It's crazy how 1 year in one situation like that can shift everything. Like just
it
crazy
is.
stuff.
My sister lives in Richmond, Virginia, And I
Yeah.
had my oldest nephew. Well, he just moved to Florida, but at that time he was stationed in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And the one thing
Yeah.
that I would tell you that I remember doing a lot during the pandemic was renting cars because we didn't want to fly. Remember how dangerous it
Yep.
was, and there was barely any flights. But I remember renting cars, and I look forward to these big long drives just to see them because I was like, okay, I can't see my parents, so let me get closer to my sister, my nephews, any way that I can. My
Yep.
nephew ended up like he got deployed in the middle of the pandemic. His wife
Wow.
gave birth. I drove all the way to Georgia because remember we couldn't get on planes, so I drove all the way to Georgia to meet the baby. Like I do remember like there was nothing I wasn't gonna do to not see them, and that was
Yeah.
involving 5-6 hour drives at a time and renting cars because we couldn't fly. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna let that keep me from seeing them. It's the only family I can see right now, you know. So that is something that I have very sad or whatever, and I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna rent a car, I'll come see you, and I will return it there in Richmond,
Yeah.
and then she would drive me back, so we will have that time, you know. We each did a drive, we did a drive together. It was not bad now that I think about it, right?
Yeah. But it's crazy to think, like, doesn't it feel like it was forever ago, the
Yeah,
pandemic?
and it feels like it didn't
And
happen.
yes, that's what I was getting to. It just all that stuff, like it just feels like what? Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was like 20 years ago. Like crazy.
Yeah, and now
Yeah.
you're more lucky if you didn't have COVID than if you. I remember when in the beginning we're all trying to stay away. Now I feel like we all had it at one point or another. It's
Yeah.
it's like more rare to find somebody that hasn't had it than somebody that had it. Like it's crazy how much it has changed. Even
Yeah.
I remember if you had it, like on the beginning we didn't even know how to react to it. Now it's just like okay, 5 days and you're good. We used to make these
Yep.
people stay away from everybody for like 2 weeks or more.
Yep.
It
I
was
remember
crazy,
talking
but
about it. I remember talking about it how like we look at other viruses and whatever. If you look at the flu, like the flu was like this massive killer when it was first, when
right.
it first came out, when it debuted, it made its debut, and eventually it just became what we know as the flu. Like you get a flu
Yeah.
shot or you take medicine, or you find the cold, the same thing. Like everyone was dying, different things were happening, and now it's like you'll be fine in a few days. I knew that was going to happen with COVID. I just didn't know
Yeah.
how long it was going to take to get to that
Yeah,
point.
because we
Like
needed to find a cure and like vaccines and everything. But yeah, it just doesn't feel the same way. But it was. I will say it was scary at first. It was.
yeah, I see
But
Samantha in the chat just said she's never had COVID.
you're one of the lucky ones.
Nope. I feel like I had it a few weeks ago.
That's the
I
thing
got the
now. You cough and you're automatically like, oh, I have COVID. Like I literally feel that way now. Like I cough or I feel off and I'm like, oh God, I
yeah,
have COVID, don't I? And then I remember a few times where I just had like a normal cold. And I will be
yeah,
taking all of these tests, and it was like I'm wasting $10-15 because at first the tests were hard to find and expensive. They'll come back
yep,
negative, and now it's like, do I take a test because I don't even know if it is? Like when I got it, I did not get a fever, and everybody's like, oh, that's the symptom. I was like, I never got a fever. I got tired. I was stuffy. I didn't feel good. Don't get me wrong, but I never got
yeah.
a fever when I did get it.
Yeah, I think I had it two separate times, and I had the different versions of it. The first time I had more of like the cold symptoms. Like I had a stuffy nose,
Yeah,
burning throat, and I just felt tired. The second time I felt more of the flu symptoms. I had like a fever, I had like body aches, but I didn't have the cold stuff. So it's like
yeah.
I got it all. Whatever. That's what happened.
My issue
But
is
it's
that I have bad allergies and I'm asthmatic.
why?
So I'm used to not being able to breathe right. I mean,
Yep,
so you gotta hit me with something different for me to get worried. Otherwise, I'm just gonna pop my inhaler and keep going like
yep,
nothing is happening because I can't breathe normally 75% of the time anyway. You know,
yep. I'm
so
the same way.
my yeah, my mom is always like, you gotta be careful. And I'm like, Mom, I can't breathe all the time. So I need COVID to hit me with a fever or body aches or something. Because if it's just like a
Give me a
little
sign.
cough or a stuffy nose, I'm gonna think it's my normal stuff every day. So I
Yeah.
remember too, like, I know we weren't doing this, but I remember the drama, like how much we used to follow the celebrities to see what they were doing, how they were exposing people, or the Kardashians
Yeah.
taking a vacation in the middle of this pandemic. Oh my God, I'll never forget that that was the tea. People were just like following all these celebrities to just talk crap about them for like breaking all the rules, or the influencers. The influencers were doing too much at the time.
Yeah, I remember seeing influencers like posting videos
Mm.
of them like walking around New York City, and people are like, "You can't be out! Like, what are you doing? Oh, this is
Or
Times
not
Square with no
masked, or
people."
they'll be unmasked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy. But
Crazy times. I'm glad we're done with those. But yeah, it's always fun to go back and think about
yeah,
it, because the other day just hit me that it's been 3 years. I'm like, it feels like it was
crazy.
forever ago, and it also feels like it was yesterday. Like, I can't describe it. It's such a weird time.
You know what will always be the weirdest part about it all to me, and it
What?
might be for you too. Having WrestleMania in the Performance Center.
I can't even talk about it. I hated it.
That
I
may
hated
be
it. I hated it. I have only gone back to watch the Boneyard match, and that's all that I will watch from that Mania. It never happened. It didn't exist
it's so
out of my
sad
memory.
to actually watch it. Like if you go watch it back now, like
I didn't
poor
even
Drew
do
McIntyre.
reactions. I didn't even do reactions. And I've been doing reactions on the internet since 2015. I didn't even do
Yeah,
reactions. I remember night one. Yeah, night one closed with the Boneyard match. I watched it on FaceTime with my nephews. Like, we were all watching it, and I had like a group FaceTime going. I was in my PJs. Like, I was like, and it's so weird because to me, WrestleMania is like, it's like my Super Bowl, right? It's the biggest day of the year. I love to get dressed up, whether I'm going as media, whether I'm going as a fan. WrestleMania is it for me, right? I wake up celebrating. Not that Mania. Yeah, you're right about that. That's a weird memory of it.
I remember the few days before the event, I was like hoping that they would like announce it. Oh, they're doing it at Raymond James Stadium. Like, oh my god! And they finally said like the day or two before. Nope, it's
That would
happening
have
at the
been so
Performance
much
Center.
more depressing, Joey. They did it at the stadium with nobody there. I
Yeah,
think if I'm a performer or a talent, that would have depressed me even more. If I'm at the stadium, at the stage I was supposed to perform, and
yeah,
and come out to nothing. But I will say I do remember WWE making the news because they were the last ones to call out WrestleMania. I remember everything else getting called down, like
big time.
NBA, baseball, football, like everybody was calling everything off, and WrestleMania was still standing. And I was like, there's no way they're doing this. And all I could think about was like the fans. Like, people travel to Mania. So I'm like, you people need to make a decision. People have pre-booked plans, hotels, and everything. Even the WrestleMania after, which I'm so mad that I didn't go because Bad Bunny
Yeah,
wrestled, but it still felt odd because it was like a half full stadium, but nothing
yeah,
like the Performance Center Mania. COVID it was a weird time. And it also, I will say, something that COVID did to me that relates to pop culture completely changed my movie going habits. I love going to the
yes,
movies. I had an AMC membership where you get like a free movie every week.
yeah,
I love going to the movies alone. I don't do that anymore. I haven't been to the movie theater after COVID for movies that I just really wanted to see. Endgame, I think it was Endgame and the two Scream movies. That's all I seen in the theater since, because everything came out directly on streaming. We got spoiled, so now
exactly.
I don't want to go to the theater for nothing.
Yeah. Well, let me ask
It's
you this:
crazy.
Were you part of the Thunderdome era? Were you on one of those
Yeah,
screens?
yeah.
I've
Oh
done
my
it a few
god.
times.
Okay, listen. Fun story. I'll share it here, but everybody knows this one. But when Roman Reigns came back at SummerSlam, I was in the Thunderdome, right? So if you go watch my
Yeah,
reaction on YouTube, you'll see that I'm recording and you can hear the Thunderdome voice like giving us instructions and all that.
yeah.
But I like marked out, right? It's my favorite. He's back. You know that WWE edited my reaction and put it on a video package as if I was reacting to Drew McIntyre winning.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's funny.
Yep, and it's funny because I am very notorious for talking a lot of crap about Drew McIntyre. So I was like, I wonder if they did this on purpose. You remember when he won the title back from Randy? Remember how he lost it to Randy for like a period of 2 weeks and won it
For like
back on an
1 month,
episode?
yeah, like, yeah,
Yeah. So when they edited and made that reaction look as as if I was reacting to Drew, but it's my Roman Reigns reaction. And it's like really funny because I'm like, you see, people make fun of me because I don't repeat my outfits, but I know exactly what I was wearing, what necklace I had on. I have the actual video of that reaction. Like you can't. The WWE has used my reactions quite a few times, but that was a funny one because the Thunderdome, it was actually pretty epic, because if you think about other companies, I remember baseball putting like the cardboards. I was like, this is depressing. At least at Thunderdome, right, it took a little bit longer for WWE to get the Thunderdome, and I hated the Performance Center era, but it made sense. Like they came up with a solution that if this thing is long term, we're still gonna look like we're performing in front of people. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I did too. I like how we've the last couple of weeks we've added like this personal aspect to the show. I'm digging that. I don't know. I like it.
Me too. Me too. We keep getting deep, but you know what? These conversations lead to those kind of things. I was watching a video earlier today, and my nephew's wife sent it to me. And it was about actually the Kardashians and like what they use for their weight loss, and it's like this whole controversy. Well, actually, we can talk about that here. It's like this whole controversy because they're using supposedly a medication that they use to treat diabetes, and like now the manufacturers of this medicine, which is a prescription medicine, and they're not the only ones. I guess Elon Musk has said he's used it, a bunch of people, and people that have actual diabetes are experiencing a shortening of it because celebrities are going crazy trying to get this prescription, right? So, and I remember how that led to this whole deep conversation with me and my nephew's wife about like all of these things. I was like, how did we end up talking about the meaning of life from the Kardashians using diabetes? Like, it happens. That's how these conversations are legitimate, because you go where I like that so much better than a rehearse. We're gonna talk about this and this and this. I don't like rehearse. I like conversational things. But yeah, that tea is hot for our Kardashian corner. It's like this whole thing that when Kim said she lost. Remember when she said she lost the 16 pounds in 2 weeks to fit into Marilyn's dress? So the whole rumor is that she was using this medication that literally people don't eat because it's an appetizer present. And I have a stomach condition. It's not the same, but I get a prescription and I don't take it, Joey, because I would literally forget to eat. Like they want me to take it like 3 times a day. I'm supposed to eat very small portions, right? Because my stomach doesn't process food. So if it processes very little. So if I eat a big serving, it's going to sit there and I'm going to get sick and I'm going to throw up, right? It's called gastroparesis. We're talking about getting deep. We're getting really deep today. Anyway, so I get a medication that is prescribed to me 3 times a day, and I only take it once, and I eat once a day. Imagine if I was taking it 3 times a day. I will never eat. I don't get hungry. I don't remember to. And it's part of it because they don't want me eating too much. But the thought of people and you have all the money in the world to hire chefs, to hire trainers. Like it drives me crazy to know that somebody will keep that from me that I needed to function on a daily basis just because you want to lose 5 pounds. Like that's crazy to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm on I just started a new, like, I'm not going to say diet. I'm going to say lifestyle change.
Lifestyle. You can't say diet.
Where I weighed myself. I always had a problem gaining weight. Like I was always very skinny, very just I could not gain weight for the life of me. I was like 130 pounds until I went to college. And I stepped on the scale last week or so, and I could not believe that I weighed, and this is crazy to me, I weighed 194 pounds.
But that's nothing. You're tall.
No, I'm 5'10".
That's kind of tall.
5'10", almost 200 pounds. That to me is, I'm almost Daniel Bryan's weight.
You're taller than him, probably.
I should be like 170, 175. So my goal, I'm trying to lose 20 pounds by June 1st, by like the summertime.
That's realistic. Okay.
And I'm just changing a lot. I don't know if you've seen my tweets on Twitter, but I put stuff out like I have a big problem with eating late at night, like because
you can't do that. That's the worst. That's the worst.
Wrestling's a 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night job. When you're doing things after that, you don't go to bed till 12, 1 o'clock. I'm eating everything. at those
But you
times.
need to like find some snacks that will like fool your brain to thinking you're eating, like a celery stick or a carrot or a baby
Exactly.
carrot. Like you need to just snack on certain things and
Yep.
drink a lot of water because that will help you a lot.
Yep. One of
But
my
go ahead.
yeah. No, one of my followers on Twitter actually responded to my tweet. I was asking for what can you any advice on what to do, and he told me that if you eat a scoop of peanut butter, like a little thing of peanut butter,
Hmm.
when you get like that at night, it will go away. And peanut butter is naturally healthy for you. So a little bit of peanut butter, it takes the craving away. And I've tried it twice, and it's worked.
Oh, that's
Crazy.
good to know. That's good to know. I
Yeah,
never had peanut butter in my life.
really.
Yeah, it looks gross.
I love peanut butter. I love green
I'm
food.
a visual eater. If it looks weird to me, I'm not gonna eat it. I'm gonna assume I don't like it. There's so many foods I never tasted just because I assume I'm not gonna like them. It's crazy.
I used to be like that, and then I don't know what happened. I just started trying things, and maybe that's why I weigh
Well, there you go.
196
I
pounds.
was just gonna say we figure it out, Joey.
Yeah, oh, there it is.
It's crazy
I
though because
remember.
like now with the social media era and like celebrities and like influencers like being foodies or posting their foods, which half of the time they do it for a photo op and they don't even touch that food, by the way, sorry, but it's true. But it's crazy how these restaurants are making all of these crazy plates and desserts, and it's just like who can be the most extreme. And it's just like I've learned because of my condition on how very little food the human can actually survive. As a matter of fact, the stomach is not even a vital organ. You can live without one, right? Like, so that's why they don't do
Yeah,
stomach transplants or anything like that. But it's crazy how much we eat to eat when we think we're hungry. You know, obviously, you're not going to function at your full potential eating the way that I have to because of my condition. But it's just
yeah,
been, to me, that's been the most mind blowing part. And like, I shared this before here. Like, I'm a huge Survivor fan, for example, right? Like the TV show. And a lot of times people is like, oh, I could never do Survivor because like these people are eating like couple of like spoons of rice a day and there's no way. And I'm like, actually, technically speaking, there is a way that you can survive on
yeah,
that. That's why Survivor is only a certain amount of days compared to like Big
yeah,
Brother, where they're there for almost 3 months. Survivor is like a month long, but it's because they
yeah,
know there's only so long you can push the body to that limit, right? but but yeah, it's insane. That's the one thing that I always, it's always been mind blowing to me, is just how little you can actually function. And it
yeah,
really, like, a lot of times because of my condition I had to like stop and say, are you eating to eat, or are you actually hungry? Are you dizzy? Do you need to put, because it's crazy. And like, you go to these restaurants and you look at these menus and they make so many ridiculous things now.
yeah.
Like, of course, the world is gonna be wanting to eat. Like, the restaurants are not making it easy on you.
I remember seeing this statistics. I'm not even gonna say what it was because I don't remember at all. I'm gonna butcher it. But it's
Hmm.
paraphrasing. Basically, that by a certain year, and it's soon, I think, like by 2025, I think it was, like almost every kid in America will be considered obese because of the food here. And if you look at America opposed to other countries, if you
Yeah.
look at the type of food, not only the food, but the portions. Like if like
Yeah.
you look at like some of the portions at restaurants in America, it's this huge amount of food. And I remember when I went to
Hmm.
Paris, the food amounts were like this little thing. I'm like, I can't eat this. This is a snack. Like,
Bring me
and the
another
man,
one.
give me six more. But like that's part of why I've gained some weight. Like I eat till I'm full, and it's a lot.
You need to eat until you feel kind of full, and then like this another tip, since you're trying to do it, is wait 20 minutes. If you still feel like eating, then you're still hungry. But a lot of times your
Yeah.
body is just will keep you eating just to eat. I
Yep.
lost a lot of weight even before my stomach condition. I had like this awakening moment, like you did, but mine was I was going on a zip line in Vegas, the Fremont Street, the one in downtown. And I
Yeah.
remember weighing in, and the girl saying, "Oh, you're cutting it close," and that's when I realized, because I'm my heaviest, I was like 245, and their
Really.
limit for that zip line is like 260. And when she said that, I came back from that trip for Vegas and I changed my entire lifestyle. Like you said, that's a big
Yeah.
part of saying you have to change your lifestyle. Then I was able to maintain it for a few years. Then I got sick and on my way. At first I didn't know how to control because my illness has no cure. It's a chronic disease, but they had no cure and they didn't know how to control it. So I got all the way down to like 100. I think I was 105 pounds, and I'm tall
Wow.
for a female. So I was a mess, and then I got stomach cancer. Anyways, now I'm back to keeping a healthy way that I don't have to worry about a stomach tube or feeding through a tube because I don't want to go through that. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane how much you learn. Like the whole wait 20 minutes. Like eat if you start to feel full, drink some water and wait 20 minutes and you'll see that the craving will go away. Remove the plate from your sight, obviously, and just
Yeah.
wait and you'll see that you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm not really that hungry. Where if you would have kept going, you would have probably finished it.
Yeah. And
I
ever since
always
I
order
started,
also I always order appetizers or sides. I never order full meals at restaurants.
oh, I order both.
Ah
The appetizers and the meal.
I'm such a cheap date, man.
No, and I've even seen over the last couple of weeks that I started switching my food habits. I'm feeling like my brain is clearer. I'm
Yeah.
thinking clearer.
Are you
Sleeping is
working out?
better. I'm working out. That's another problem I have. I'm very inconsistent with working out. I do
Yeah.
yoga every morning.
Yoga's
I
the
think I told you
best.
before. I when I interviewed DDP, we talked about yoga, and he gave me the whole program for free. And ever since
Yeah.
that, I do it every morning, and it's because I have a lot of back issues, so it helps with my back and tension in my neck and different things like that. But
Yeah.
um, I'm seeing
Because
there's like
working out
different,
does that for me, for my brain. I have really bad ADHD. I have OCD. Like I have everything, and working out
yep.
really like has helped my brain feel a little more clear.
Yeah, I'm working up to being fully consistent with the gym, but I am doing here and there my yoga workouts at home, but I'm not
Yeah.
in the gym physically. Um, but speaking of things changing your brain and making, maybe that's why Amanda Bynes, maybe she's not eating properly. Maybe
Man, I
that's
feel so bad. I feel
she's
like
running through the streets naked.
her story has always been such a weird one too. She's another Britney case. She went through a
Yeah,
conservatorship. I did read that her parents are not considering putting her under another conservatorship as of right now, but she's on a 5150 hold, which is when they hold you against your own will. But
wow,
the way TMC reported the news is she's roaming through the streets naked and she waves down a car, tells the car that she's going through a psychotic episode and calls 911 herself. So to me, it's like crazy that she was in, because a lot of times where I don't know, but when you're going through something like that or a manic episode, like you can't even recognize what you're going through. But I feel like she's been struggling with mental health issues for so long that she's to the point that obviously she even recognizes what she's going through and asks for the help that she needed.
yep,
But that could have ended up really bad,
yeah,
really bad. She was in
yeah.
downtown LA, roaming the streets naked.
That's
That's
the
how
worst.
they
That's the
found
worst
her.
place to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And then typically, a 5150 hold, they will hold them for at least a 72-hour period, and then from there they'll realize if they need to hold them longer or not. And like I said, another update that I saw on her news story is that her parents are saying they're not gonna put her under another conservatorship as of right now. But we talked about Britney a lot because we all know I'm obsessed with Britney. She's another one that you can just tell she's not all there or not okay.
yeah.
I do think they have given her a little more freedom than what they gave Britney. I still don't think Britney's fully free, to be honest with you.
No, I
But
don't think so either.
I just hope I just hope that she's gonna be okay. I mean, she's getting the help that she needs right now. But it's just a crazy situation to just think she could have ended up at the wrong thing, the wrong person could have grabbed her.
Yeah.
Like it's just insane. I feel bad.
Wasn't she doing better as of late? I thought.
I mean,
Wasn't
she
she like
started dating
engaged?
somebody new. The last time, the last time I remember her being in the news, she was dating somebody new. I mean, I don't think she's been okay for a long time.
Yeah.
So I remember her popping up, living in New York City with the, I don't care about piercings, but the heart tattoo on her
Hard
face.
as in her face. Yeah.
I remember not even recognizing her the first time that I remember her like going in the news for being a little not all there. She was living in New
Yeah.
York, and I forgot about her after a few of the movies that she did. She kind of like disappeared, and then when she shows up looking like that, I was like, there's no way that's the same girl. She was a Disney girl,
I
But
love the Bynes. I absolutely
which
loved
one?
her. I
Yeah.
loved her movies. I loved her acting, but I also had a huge crush on her. Huge crush on
I
her.
was gonna say, because she gives me Miley Cyrus vibes, and you love Miley
Yeah.
Cyrus. So back in
He
the
was like
day,
the original of that.
yeah, back in the day, Amanda Bynes always gave me Miley Cyrus vibes. So I can totally see you crushing on her. You have a type.
Oh.
But I
Yeah.
just like, I don't want to comment on people's mental health. I think the hold is the best thing for her. I mean, it just makes me sad to know that somebody to that level is waving cars down and asking for help and calling 911 herself and saying, "Hey, I'm going through a psych episode." Like,
Yeah. At least
but
he was
I don't
aware of it,
know.
you know?
Yeah, I don't know, because you have people. I'm perfectly okay, like being alone and living alone, and it's just like I try to put myself in that situation, and it's like, what happens if I go crazy right now? Who's gonna know I'm alone, But there's family members that check on me every day and this and that, so
I have the
it just
same
makes you
thing.
wonder. It just makes you
Yeah.
wonder. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's a crazy situation. I feel really bad for her, and I also feel
Me
bad for
too.
like her immediate like the people around her as well. Like to see her like such a like in such a decline, over things that just happened. Like it's sad to see.
At least we
Yeah.
are a lot more open about mental health issues, and I feel like
Yes.
this generation is more ready to talk about it and more ready to accept it, because I
Yeah.
remember growing up, mental health was not a thing that was in the forefront and will be talked about. You were just crazy, and it will be used
Yeah.
in that kind of way, and that was it. At least now, with that's the one thing I always say, oh, this generation is soft or this or that, but they have made awareness for a lot of things that people needed to be aware of for a long time. So I'm just happy
Yeah.
that people are more open about speaking about these kind of issues and getting the help that they need.
Yeah. I mean, I suffer from anxiety, and I didn't even know what anxiety was until I went to college. Like it wasn't even like a thing. Like this
Yeah,
crazy stuff. Crazy. But
it is. I hope she
no,
gets the
I'm
help that
hoping
she
that
needs, and we'll probably get updates because this story went viral. So I'm sure we'll hear back because everybody was kind of talking about it. It popped up on my page without me. It popped up on my page this morning when I don't know why I always have a obsession of sending you messages at 6 a.m. with news stories from the day. But at
you're
least I'm
prepared.
consistent about getting up early. But it showed up on my timeline without before I even started searching for our topics for today. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god. Then I read all the updates and all that. So we'll see where it goes. We'll keep you guys posted. We usually, if a story needs follow up, we follow up with it. So
Yeah. Any movies or shows you've watched in the last week? I know
no, did
you sent
you?
me. I haven't
Yeah, did
watched
you
it.
watch it? What the
I
hell?
haven't yet. You know what? I'm gonna watch it tonight. I'm gonna watch it tonight. Um, yeah, I'm cutting back down my wrestling for the week. NXT
Man.
is being sacrifice. So
Yeah, I had to cover NXT. But no, I actually went back on Paramount Plus and I caught on the all-star seasons of the challenge. I'm a big challenge viewer, but I wasn't watching the ones that they were making for exclusively for Paramount Plus. But I started watching and I ended up enjoying them a lot. They're more old school vibe, like the challenge that I liked, in the beginning. But that's
yeah,
about it. I didn't watch anything new this week. I feel like I overloaded last week. Remember, I came in with like Scream,
yeah,
You, this and that. So I go through weeks where I just watch a bunch of things, and then I go through weeks where I'm just not watching anything. I'm keeping up with the challenge. There's a new one, and I'm keeping up with Survivor, and that's my weekly watch right now until probably after Mania. Right now, I'm so busy, I just haven't
yeah.
had the time.
I get it. I get it. I just started watching the first season of Outer Banks. I never watched it. Everyone told me that I should get on it. I started watching it. It's
Is
actually
it
really
good?
good. I like
Yeah,
it.
I
It's
get a lot of people. I had a lot of people telling me I need to watch that show.
I wouldn't consider it like an adult series. I would say it's
Okay.
more of like a teeny bopper type show.
Okay.
It does have some dramatic like drama to it where it feels like you're watching a movie, an adult
Okay.
movie. But the best I can compare it to, it's like a better version of Riverdale. If you ever watched Riverdale with Cole Sprouse, um, it's like one of those. It's like a teeny bopper show.
Do
Like
people
for
die? Is there slashers? Is there aliens? Is there?
yeah. So people die.
I like that dark stuff.
So I'll give you the quick synopsis of what I'm on the 10th episode, which is the last episode. I'm going to watch it tonight.
Okay.
So the whole first season is basically about they live on the beach, the Outer Banks. I think it's like one of the North Carolina or something like that. And the main character's dad goes missing, and the dad was like a treasure hunter, and there's like gold in the area that he never found, and he finds out what happens to his dad. I'm not going to say what happens to his dad, but basically they go through all these people that are trying to murder them and different things, and it's it's you know who the main character is? I don't know his name, but he's now dating Kelsey Ballerini.
Oh, I know who he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll check it out. We'll
Apparently,
see.
yeah, it's a decent show. I'm getting more and more into it as I watch it, but we'll see.
Well,
I like
maybe
Rick.
if you watch Scream this week, I'll try to watch something new so I can bring it to the table next week.
There you go. Ricky wrote in that dark side of Issa.
Yeah, I'm always watching dark stuff. I don't know why. No, I don't like romantic movies. They're gross.
I like to watch. Do you watch TV or anything before you go to bed? Besides wrestling,
No, I watch YouTube.
what's the genre of the things you like to watch before bed?
Yeah, true crime.
See,
True crime documentaries, that kind of stuff, or like
I
I don't
love
know. I
watching
watch
that
a lot of
stuff.
random stuff.
I love watching those kind of things. Crime investigation, Law and Order.
Yeah.
I love SVU. And I even want. I think we talked about it before. There was this documentary on Netflix about the Murdoch family. That yeah, I watched that. I love watching those kind of things. And I ended up finding out that I get like really bad anxiety after watching those, like adrenaline, and I can't go to sleep. Not anxiety, like my adrenaline going. Like I want more of it, and I'm like, it gets me like, like we're in this now. Let's do this thing, and I'm like awake. I need to watch like comedy before bed.
I fall right asleep.
And that's
beautiful.
That's why I love you, Lisa. That's why I love you.
Yeah, they're like, and he murdered her using this weapon, this weapon. I'm like, okay, great.
I watched the whole murder and then went to sleep like a baby.
Yep. Oh my god.
I'm finding myself having to watch more comedy before bed so I could sleep better.
Maybe.
Yeah.
At this point, what I've been doing is like just putting my phone in a charger away and like not watching anything. Otherwise, I won't fall asleep. That's another problem that I have. Like you said, yeah, like I'll play a stupid game or I'll start responding to something and then you just don't put it down. Next thing you know, it's like 4 a.m. and you're like, oh crap, I gotta be up in 2 hours. So I'm doing the thing where it's like the phones like stay a little bit further away and I turn around and I cuddle Roman. Because if Roman falls, I know it sounds silly, but if Roman falls asleep on me, I won't move. Do not wake him up. So my goal is like to get the dog to fall asleep on me because then I won't move to grab the phone and then that gets me to fall asleep.
Yep. I have a cat that's like my child, and he was trained like a dog. So he lays like on my chest, and once he gets into a sleep, I'm like, I can't move. It's it.
Yeah, he's sleeping. You can wake them up, you know. But yeah, that's like the before bedtime stuff. Is just like I'll either find true crime or I'll purposely go through my recommended on YouTube and find a video that I know I'm gonna get bored with, and it's gonna put me to sleep.
There you go.
Yep.
This was an interesting show today. We talked about a lot of stuff.
We did. As always.
I love getting into deep conversation and mixing it up with like, you know, that's one thing that I've seen the change on this show. Like, there's a lot of shows that they'll just like, oh, this is topic 1, topic 2, topic 3. Okay, bye. We relate it to ourselves. We get deep into conversation. We talk about different things, real life stuff that, you know, our chat can be going through. and
Yeah,
we
we're
tie it
becoming
into the show.
friends. Like we have become actual real life friends, and that helps the conversation just keep going in a way that is
Yeah,
more conversational instead of just we're just gonna tell you uh some pop culture news. Let's talk about it
yeah,
in depth, you know?
exactly. I like to say it's like we're less of a news show and more of a uh like an in-depth podcast,
Yep.
like a Joe Rogan esque. We get
I
into it.
love that. I love that. Yep. Because that's
Yep.
why he's as successful as he is, because he doesn't just cover a topic, he really gets into it.
No. I was gonna say impulsive, but we're not
Oh
Logan
my
Paul.
God. So impulsive can be a good show. Depends on who his guest is and what the topic is. Some weeks is a hit. Some weeks I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna skip this one.
Yeah. He just had on David Portnoy, I think, last week or so,
Hmm.
and I haven't watched it
Yeah.
yet. I love Dave
No,
Portnoy.
I haven't seen it either. I started it, but I haven't finished it. It was good. So far, it was good.
Guy's got no personality. Dave Portnoy.
At all.
Yeah, I love him. Yeah, so I think that's it for today's show. And we've been it's 4:30. That's
Yeah,
how that's the
our shows are now an hour and a half, basically.
yeah. I'm okay with it. It is what it
Me
is.
too. Me too. I look forward to
But
this every Tuesday. It's my disconnect from
yeah,
the rest of the world.
yeah, we're switching slowly from being a matinee to a later in the
We are, I don't know, we're not brunch. I don't know what we are, but we're here in the afternoons for as long as we can. We just keep going.
when you go to brunch and you have a few too many
The
mimosas,
mimosas, and you just stay
then you go to
there
the
for another
after
2 hours.
party. That's us. You
Oh
go to
my
the after
God,
party after brunch.
we should bring mimosas next show.
Yeah, we'll do brunch live. It's the
Yeah.
mukbang.
Oh God, don't even get me started on that. No, but it's always a blast. It's always a blast. And thanks to everybody in the chat popping in and interacting with us. We appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Issa, always a pleasure to talk to you. I could sit here and talk for 5 hours with you. That's you're easy
Same.
to talk. I love it. I enjoy
Thank
it.
you. You are too, Joey. I love you.
For everybody listening and watching, you're engaging with us in the chat. I saw a lot of people in the chat today. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already to the Know Your News channel. But also, we are both content creators outside of the show too. You can follow Issa at NYC Demon Diva and me at here. You have one of my accounts at Joey Karni, but I'm usually on at
He
the
has
Angle Radio.
multiple personalities on Twitter. I don't even know which one to use. I just type in Joey and whatever pops up first, that's the one that I tag.
You know, I have such a hard time with that because sometimes I'll tweet wrestling stuff and it's on my other account, and I'm like,
Yeah.
whoops, gotta delete that and put it on the other.
Yep.
I'm slowly becoming solely on the Angle Radio Twitter. That's mainly what
That's where
everybody's
I
like.
always see you interact. So
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes a little too much there, but
Twitter, man. We could spend a whole freaking hour talking about Twitter. Twitter is something. It's such a cesspool, but at the same time, it's a cool place because I
yeah.
met so many cool people through it. So I have a love-hate relationship with it.
I say this: if it wasn't for wrestling, I would not be on Twitter.
Ooh, I will still be on Twitter. I like Twitter.
I would be on the least amount of social media as possible. I'd probably be on like Instagram. Like
Instagram
that's it.
has changed so much, though. Like it's pretty
Yeah,
much a mini TikTok now. It annoys me.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure we could do, like you said, we could have another 2 hour conversation on social media. But
Yep.
yeah, and I always forget the super chats.
It is.
That's the thing.
I wait. I actually put it in the chat today. It is actually KYN chat, which is for knowyournewschat.com. That people can go in there and leave us a super chat when we're not on the air, or you can leave it here in the chat. But again, a like, a sharing, a subscribe, or following us on our social media, it is also greatly appreciated. The super chats do help, but you can also do all of those things to help us.
Yes, and if you really do enjoy the conversations that Issa and I have, I mean, get involved with us. Your super chats kind of can persuade where the conversation goes. So get involved with us, get those super chats in, and hopefully next week we have some, and we'll really engage with the chat.
Hell yeah. I forgot I am
Hell
here
yeah.
next week. It's the week after that I am not here.
Yeah, I thought next weekend was WrestleMania. I'm like, no, it's the week after. So
No, yeah, no, I'm traveling. I leave on the Wednesday. It's when I come back from LA on a Tuesday, so I'll be traveling all day that day. So that's why I can do. But I'm still here on Tuesday, so I'll be here next week. I'm not leaving you on your own.
look at you going to LA, doing all LA things.
I gotta go
WrestleMania.
shopping. Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. If I witness any pop culture tea, at least I'll come with like on site reporting.
Oh yeah, you got to. If you see a Kardashian in the street, you got to
Exactly.
just
Yeah. Okay.
or not Malibu, but close enough.
Close enough.
All right, Issa. Again, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure with the chat, and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.